Hello and welcome to Bad at Magic Hot Ones edition. As teased on the podcast, Josh and I are about to do a flight of the Hot Ones Challenge. The Hot Ones sponsor the podcast. We have here in front of us 6 hot sauces and some spicy questions to boot, and we're going to enjoy some hot wings and some conversation.
I forgot about my questions. Let me get those up. Okay, here they are.
Okay. So, of the 10 that we got in this hot sauce flight, we omitted some, but not the spiciest ones because we didn't want to chicken out. So first we're going to start with karma sauce, which is lemongrass, galangal, and kaffir lime infused vinegar with bright aromatic notes. It's got a Scoville unit of 5,600, which I think is like eating a jalapeno.
This should be fine, yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
Let's go.
Oh, we starting already?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Just dive right in, I suppose.
It's yummy.
This should not have been my first meal of the day.
Are you serious?
No. You saw me eat a burrito. Listeners, this is coming on the end of day 3 of Magic on Las Vegas 2025, and this is the first time where we stayed so long they had to kick us out. Like, we did everything. I saw the cosplay contest.
We closed the place down at 6 p.m.
We tried to steal stuff from wizards.
No, you didn't.
It was a great time.
Josh had a real-world exercise in applied ethics. That's yummy.
It's pretty good.
It's good. It's herby and lots of flavor notes. I really like it. And a little bit of spice.
Yeah, it's a little spicy, but not too bad. All right, so these are the only 2 that we're worried about here. Everything up to here is in the range of normal human consumption. These ones we had to sign a waiver for.
That is so not true. All right, I got a question for you, Josh. We'll start off easy with one we got from a listener online. What is your greatest fear, and has it ever come to pass in your life?
My greatest fear. Okay. Are we talking about physical, like visceral, gut reaction fear, or are we talking like what you're abstractly afraid of?
So I pondered this question a lot, and I realized that it's easy to say something like a violent death or torture or something like that, but you can also pick something psychological that gets at your deepest insecurities.
Okay. What I'm most afraid of.
It's up to you.
I never thought I was claustrophobic before, but recently, and then like within the last couple of years, I saw this video on YouTube where they were describing this guy who was going spelunking, and this is a thing that he just did. He would go find caves and he would go like explore them. And there was one specific cave in his area that he had done a whole bunch of times, and there's specific parts where it's so tight you have to belly crawl for like 50 plus yards and like really squeeze between things. Well, on this last trip that he ever took in there, he took a wrong turn from the path that he had been on a whole bunch of times, thinking it was a different part. And so he was squeezing around this tight 90-degree corner, and he got into a position where it dead-ended, and he was physically incapable. Like, the way that his bones were in his body would not let him go backwards. And he died there. Like, just, I don't know if he suffocated or if he died of thirst or starvation.
He couldn't even gnaw his own arm off to get out.
There was not a thing that he could do.
I saw that in the news. That is terrifying.
And every once in a while it'll pop up again on my phone, like just the picture of the position that he was in this cave. And that, like, abstractly thinking about being in a position where I am in a confined space and then like actually trapped, like, did something visceral to me. Actual physical anxiety.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to send. You stole my first question too. It's a listener question. So it's a good one.
Okay.
What is your greatest fear, Ben?
I'm going to take this in a different direction because mine's more existential. I mean, since I believe in God, I also believe that this life is kind of like a simulation, and that at some point I'll die and I'll just be an immortal being, and I'll look back at all my suffering and mortality as temporary. But then I'll have to account for the decisions I made to my maker. And the thing I'm most afraid of is for not meeting my obligations to the people I love.
Okay.
Like not raising my children right, not being a good husband, not fulfilling my obligations to them because I think that's my most sacred obligation.
So obviously you're doing your best now. So this is a fear that you're going to be shown from a third-party, omniscient perspective how you failed, even though you thought you were doing the best.
No,
you
I don't
could.
think it's going to be like a gotcha. You know, like you didn't know what the speed limit was and you were speeding.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be stuff I already knew. I guess just the thought of being laid bare before my maker and being conscious, with all of mortality aside, of all of my weaknesses and faults is really kind of terrifying.
Okay. I can see how that would be terrifying if you believe that was going to be a thing that happened to you.
All right, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
My lips are a little burny.
Yeah. Let's go in for another.
What's the next one here?
All right, you hold it up. That is the Hot Ones Pickled Garlic Sriracha. And you said you've never had Sriracha before. So
I've never had Sriracha.
This will be your first Sriracha experience. So this one is sweet, ripe, red jalapenos and a little bit of pickled garlic, 18,000 Scoville units. Let's go.
18,000. Okay. I was training. I said this on the podcast. I was training with habanero sauce on every meal.
We
for
haven't
like
made it
3
to
weeks.
habanero yet.
Habanero is anywhere from 100 to 300,000, so I feel decently prepared.
That's yummy.
You don't have to say it every time.
I like it. So far, so good. Sometimes the hot sauce is just like I'm not a fan of Tabasco sauce. It's too vinegary and
I do the Chipotle Tabasco sauce. That's much better.
Whole different flavor.
Completely different thing. I'm gonna ask you a question this time, maybe, so I can eat. All right, Ben. So this is another question that we got from a Redditor. Top or bottom?
Top or bottom?
Yeah. It's not a hard question. I mean, for me, it's usually top, but then every once in a while I'll go to the bottom. Like that's just like a normal thing, right? It depends on how you're feeling, where you're at. Like most of the time, I prefer the top bunk, but depending on if somebody else wants it, I'll sleep on the bottom bunk.
Bunk.
Is that not what they were
This
asking?
question makes me uncomfortable. This question makes me uncomfortable because I'm not just talking about myself, I'm also talking about another person that's involved, and I wouldn't want to, compromise any trust.
I don't know why the Redditor would ask us this question. The only correct answer is whatever feels good at the time.
Okay. Fair. All right, I got another question for you. Where do you want to live after you retire, and why?
That's assuming I'm gonna retire. Ben, I'm just gonna die at my desk. That's the plan.
No, come on. Anyone that listens to the podcast know that if you could quit your job tomorrow and be a hobbyist for the rest of your life, you would do it. So let's pretend at some point you do reach retirement capability. Where are you going to go?
Away? I don't know. It doesn't really matter because it's not about where physically I live. It's about what I have available. And so it's going to be more about, is there high-speed internet? Is it a nice neighborhood? Are there commercial things that I like to do that are nearby?
That's interesting because all that stuff you just said could be detached in anywhere on Earth.
Huh.
Like you don't care about hot, cold, proximity in mountains, bodies of water, political climate, transportation.
Well, hang on a second. We're taking in all those other things? Okay, well, it's going to be a blue state. It's not going to be super rainy. I'm personally not a fan of rainy. I would prefer someplace that didn't have venomous insects, so like the entire continent of Australia is out. But yeah, mild climate, wooded. I don't know, wooded seems fine. Wow, I lived in wooded and I didn't really like that either. I don't know.
Vermont?
Maybe. Yeah, okay. Let's go Atlantic Northeast. Is that what that is?
Okay.
Sure, we'll go Northeast somewhere.
That sauce was pretty good.
I ate the whole wing. It was pretty
good example of Sriracha.
Great. What's the next one?
All right. The next one is the Hot Ones Los Calientes Rojo. Our Cali-Mex-inspired Los Calientes sauces. Hot Ones sponsor the podcast. This one's 49,000 Scoville units, so this is 2.5 times hotter than the previous one.
The previous one was that hot.
No. So here we go.
Listeners, we did this for real. We actually did put the hot sauce on all of these, and we tossed them in the sauce. That's why they're in separate cups, so they didn't mix and match. That said, I didn't get much sauce on this one, I don't think. It's not hot.
Yet.
Haven't
you watched the show?
Was it a slow burn on this one?
Sometimes they're like, ooh, that gets you later.
No, I will say there are different peppers that'll do that. When we're cooking at home, we have chili powder that will make things instantly hot, but then it fades really quickly.
This one says as habanero.
Oh, okay. I find that cayenne pepper, if you want a slow burn that builds as you're eating, that's when you add cayenne pepper.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing quite beat English mustard, which has this weird, like, vapory burn that gets you in your nose.
Like a horseradish?
Yeah, like a horseradish.
I want to know who the first person that ate a horseradish was and why they kept eating it.
I feel that way about a lot of things we eat.
Oh,
Like-
this. It had to be a dude. It had to be a man.
Why did you keep doing this?
Yeah, it's like he ate it like, oh, this is terrible. Bob, come down here. You've got to try this. It's so bad. Like a person with any common sense, like a woman, would just throw it away. Like, oh, this is clearly poisonous.
Yeah, that one's burning on my lips, and after it's done.
It still tastes good. I'm going to eat this whole wing because I'm hungry.
Okay, I got a third question for you.
All right.
Josh, you die, and your consciousness doesn't end like you thought it would.
Ugh.
Without tying the scenario to any particular physics or theology, pretend there's someone else there. Who would you want it to be, and what would you ask them?
Who would I want to be with me at the end of my life?
You wake up dead, and you're still there.
And I'm still, what, in my body, or just I'm still a thing?
You're still a thing. Again, without tying it to any particular physics or theology, you wake up dead, you're still there. Who do you want to be there, and what do you ask them?
Is this outside of time? I have to ask this question because that changes the answer.
Okay. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
You're no longer mortal.
Well, then I want it to be my wife. Like, this is the person I chose to be with forever anyway, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I like that answer.
But it has to be outside of time. If it is currently the current time, I don't want her to be there with me. I want her to continue on. Well, but then she's going to be sad. I'm assuming that she'll be sad if I'm also dead. So what's better, her to also be dead and then there with us together, or would it be better that she's there after she had lived a full, fulfilling life, continuing after me, and then came back to me at the moment that I died?
That reminds me of this comic I saw where there was two people in life that loved each other, and then they died, and they were ghosts together, and they were like, "Hey,
That's Beetlejuice.
no, yes, Beetlejuice too, but I'm talking about a comic. Link in the show notes, where they're like, well, we're not married anymore. Yeah, but we're both here. You want to go do something? Yeah, I think I did. I think I would.
Till death does us part. Well, death did us part.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, I have a question for you. We eat the wings too fast. All right, so you've served the LDS Church in many callings, you call them, right? You are called on to do a thing.
Yeah.
Like, they figure out what's best for you, and you go do the thing. Like, what would you do if you could make that call?
Ooh, this is really good because my family had PowerPoint night the week before last, and we did tier lists. And somebody had mentioned
We're such exciting people. PowerPoint. Yeah.
And somebody had mentioned that we should have done a tier list of callings because everyone involved was all in the church, and so they know, like, when you get called, this is the one you want, and this is the one you don't want.
Okay.
And there's definitely tiers of, like, which ones are good. I'll tell you which ones have been my favorite.
Okay.
Top 3. One is teaching the adult Sunday school class, where you just, during the week, you study the lesson, and then you're the facilitator for the hour-long lesson with the adults. It's pretty good. You just get to study real well. You learn from them. They learn from you. There's no issues, no problems, and no external commitments.
Okay.
That's third. Second is when I was the primary chorister, which means for the group of children ages 3 to 11, you're the person that leads the singing time that lasts about 20 minutes. And you have to come up with interesting ways to lead the music and teach them the songs that then they'll sing to their fathers on Father's Day or whatever, that teach principles of the gospel. That one's fun. Or
Okay.
being the pianist for that group. I love both of those.
I'll take your word for it.
And number 1 is seminary teacher, which I talk about extensively on the podcast. That is in the morning for an hour before school, Monday through Friday. I teach a group of 14 to 18-year-olds out of the...
Yeah, but you're just a teacher. Like, you have a teaching degree. You taught professionally for a long time.
It's a lot of work. It's really hard, and it pays off. It just feels so good to just dedicate that time to the teenagers that are sacrificing to be there in the mornings.
Why are we friends? You are way too wholesome. That sounds awful.
Those are my top 3 columns.
Your top 3. That sounds like my bottom 3. What's your bottom absolute worst one? Is that the one where you just, like, you don't have to show up?
Okay, so some guys are like, the leaders of the men's group, and they have to kind of rally the men and extract things out of them. Like you try to get them to do service projects and report on their stewardship over the members of the congregation. And it's just, there's planning activities and talking to people that don't want you to talk to them, and it's just frustrating and difficult and not that rewarding.
So like the class president for a bunch of people that don't want to be there.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That sounds terrible. Fine.
Okay, what do we got next?
Next, this one is what? The Hot House hot sauce.
Okay, this is the Butterfly Bakery Hot House Sauce, which is a blend of Serrano, Habanero, Carolina Reaper, Ghost, and Carmen peppers. I've never heard of Carmen, but that sounds bad. This is 131,000 Scoville units, so
Now
this is
we're getting-
approximately 2.5 times hotter than the previous one.
We're getting there. This one has a little thermometer on the picture. It's somewhere between pretty hot and crazy hot on the thermometer.
Crazy hot. I heard you should avoid that. Here we go. Hot House.
It smells good. We're going to get a bunch of gross mouth noises on our mics.
Probably. I can edit some of that out. Just get to the reaction. This one already feels hotter.
It does feel hotter, but not unpleasantly so. Not yet. It tastes good. It's got like a citrusy to it almost.
Yeah. I can feel it building up.
All right, Ben, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Besides being a father and a husband, how do you define yourself?
Okay. So I think of this like a Venn diagram, and anyone that knows me knows I love making diagrams. If you were to make one that's all the circles that I consider to be part of my identity, and I'm at the center where all of them overlap.
Right.
So obviously I think of myself as a father and a husband, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
I should have added that to my caveats.
as an American, as a man, as a United States Air Force veteran. Ooh, that's spicy.
It's getting there.
Oh man, we got two more.
You were not training like I was.
I think of myself as someone, my youth in Idaho and Utah, I think of myself as someone from this region, the Intermountain West.
Is that what this place is called? The Intermountain West?
Intermountain West.
I've never heard that before.
Between the Cascades in the west and the Sierra Nevadas, and then the Front Range in Colorado.
You're making that up.
In the-
Nobody's heard of that. Nobody's heard of that. Listeners, if you've heard of that, post. If you haven't, post twice.
Hang on.
Okay, yeah.
That one was a slow build, but it gets to you. I think it would.
I'm regretting eating the whole thing.
Oh. Oh man. Okay.
My lips are burning.
Let's see if there's any other circles while I'm feeling vulnerable. A magic player, podcaster, nerd.
It's just stuff you do. You're just listening to things that you do.
Yeah, but those things have an identity. I mean, okay, there was a moment here this week at this convention you and I were at where we were standing in line and you took your camera and you were holding it up and taking pictures of everyone around you. And I was like, look at all those nerds, of which we are two.
Yeah.
It's part of the group. We're not exactly like all those people, and there's lots of subsets within the people, but there's something that unified us and brought us here. Okay. I think that's enough circles on my Venn diagram. Let me get you your next question.
Cool.
All right. This is an ambush, and I think the spiciness will help here.
Oh,
And
great.
I've always wanted to ask you this question, but I've never asked you this question. In fact, I'm assuming the answer, so I could just be wrong here, and this could be a dead end. But Josh, what is it like to kill someone?
What is it like to kill someone?
What is it like to kill someone? I'm assuming you have, and so I'm asking the question.
So I have between 2 and 11 kills. I have 2 confirmed kills, 9 unconfirmed kills.
I can't believe I've never asked this question.
Well, because unfortunately, it's probably going to be a dead end for you. The idea is the truth, the honest truth. I don't care. Like, these people that died were so far removed from my sphere of influence that at an intellectual level, I can think about, like, the things that we did and why we were doing it, and, like, as a nation state and what I was there doing. But at the end of the day, like, the culture that I was in, they really glorified that. They, like, brought it up. Like, it was a big deal if you got to shoot. Like, oh, I got to shoot today. and like they think it's good for your career. Like it goes on bullets. Like you get to like it's always action, impact, and
Confirmed kills.
Yeah, confirmed kills is it's a big one. That's what you put on your top line. Like I defended freedom by killing terrorists. But I have a lot of intellectual thoughts about what we did there, whether it was right or wrong. But I was the one in the seat that pulled the trigger a couple of times, and I have not lost any sleep over it.
Okay, I got a follow-up question though. So I know I've heard about people having a hard time with that particular job as a drone pilot in special operations. Mm-hmm. Did you know of people that had a hard time, and what do you feel like is the difference between you and them?
The people that had a hard time, it wasn't because of the killing. There was a couple people that had a hard time because of the hours that we were supposed to pull, like rotating with the sleep schedules and the shifts. There was people that struggled with the no-fail environment. Like everything that we did was, like you're talking about, special operations. Like if we were looking at it, it was super important, and like there is zero tolerance for failure. There were things that...
It was just organizational pressure?
Most of it, yeah.
It wasn't the actual humanity of ending another human's life.
I don't know of anybody that had a problem with that.
I wonder why I hear that, man.
They do, for, at least for the Spec Ops one, I had to go through an extensive psychological evaluation.
Okay, do you know of anyone that's got screened out because of that evaluation?
I don't.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Are we... Did I ask you your question? I think I asked you your question.
Yeah,
I only got two left. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're on to the next one. So
this is where it's going to go bad.
All right. So this one's 7 times hotter than the last one.
What's the Scovilles?
This is 816,000 Scoville units. This is the Sicilian Scorpion by Queen Majesty. Scorpion peppers are notoriously some of the hottest in the world, and Queen Majesty is forever one of Sean Evans' favorite sauce makers. So we're going to try this one out.
This might be, I might not eat this whole wing. This
Okay.
might be a one-biter here.
We'll see. I'm going to go for it.
Now this is where we need to stop touching our face.
Is this the one you put too much on?
No, I think that was the it was the previous one.
No. Not feeling it yet.
Yeah, it's starting real slow. It's there though.
It's really oh, here it comes. It's really strong garlicky. Like I'm getting lots of garlic.
It's weird because it's like the burning is starting to come up, but I inhale and I can feel burning in the air that I'm breathing in.
Like when you eat a wintergreen lifesaver and you breathe in and it feels too cold.
Yeah, that's like kind of like that. Yeah, it's doing that thing where it's getting hotter and it's not stopping. It just keeps getting hotter.
Yeah.
It is really it's really tasty though. You're gonna clean the bones, huh? All right. All right, man, let me ask you this one. My understanding, I don't know the details, is that some aspects of serving as an LDS missionary have changed since the time that you were doing it. Oh my God.
Oh, that's so hot.
Oh. All right,
My mouth is on fire.
Serving a mission has changed somewhat. What's your perspective on that? What are the changes and what's your perspective on it?
Okay. So, whew.
Holy shit.
Ow. Okay, this is a good hopper. Oh, I'm gonna drink some milk.
Yeah, it tastes good though.
I breathed it.
I took one bite. How did you eat that whole thing?
Okay, so I want to talk about one particular culture aspect that this relates to. When I was a missionary, there's very specific rules governing your conduct, mostly because you're a 19-year-old person supposed to be doing this full time, and so they want you to they want you to keep your attention on the work that you're doing full time. So a lot of the rules are surrounding preventing you from being distracted by calling home and speaking to your girlfriend and talking to your family.
You're not supposed to have a girlfriend. You're having to serve your mission.
Okay, we haven't talked about that, but there's this whole cultural thing surrounding having a girlfriend that come out on your mission, and she's supposed to support you by not talking about girlfriendy things, but send you like supportive letters. And there's a joke that was in the Book of Mormon musical, which you went and saw.
I did, yeah.
Where the girls that sent you off from home and promised that she'd wait for you 2 years, then when you get out, send you a Dear John letter.
Yeah.
Whew, that stuff's hot.
Yeah, that one's not joking around.
Okay, so you sends you dear John letter. I didn't have a girlfriend when I left. My intent was to play for keeps when I got home.
Okay.
Where I'm so distracted by how hot this is, I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so the rules are that you can only write home 1 day a week during your preparatory time that you're allotted, and you can't call home at all when I was a missionary, except for twice a year, Christmas and Mother's Day, which are kind of spaced out evenly. So over my 2 years in Oregon, I called home 4 times, and it was an hour or less. Just like, hey Mom, I love you. Can I talk to Dad? Like, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout that entire 2-year period, I really focused on letting my family not be a distraction. And then when I wrote them, I would talk about the work that I was doing, and occasionally we'd exchange little details. Like my mom was like, "Oh, we're closing on the house. We're we're building a new house," like that kind of stuff.
We had a new baby.
Right.
The school burned down.
My nose is gonna drip. So, one of the changes that's been made in recent years, and I think this is a good example of a policy change that isn't doctrinal.
Okay.
The church changed because the internet became so ubiquitous that calling home wasn't prohibitively expensive, because they don't want it to be like poor missionaries from South America can't afford to do the things that rich missionaries from North America can do.
Mm-hmm.
So before, when you're sent abroad, long distance rates were prohibitively expensive, and so they just didn't permit it. And then the internet became ubiquitous, and it was virtually free anywhere on earth to call home. And they revisited the policy. Like, why do we have this policy? We're like, it's avoid distraction. We're like, well, we're discounting the opportunity cost because of the financial cost, and maybe it will help their family understand the work they're doing better and bless their family at home and those kinds of things. My son is currently on his mission in Boston, Spanish speaking, and
they speak Spanish in Boston?
it's starting to come
I
down.
thought they spoke Bostonian in Boston.
It's a cosmopolitan town, big
You gotta go
town.
park your car.
I told him my running joke was that he'd have to learn 2 new languages. And so right now he calls home every week, and I've had a hard time adjusting to it.
A hard time in like it? You don't like it?
Like, I don't want to talk to him. Okay.
You don't want to talk to your son?
Here's what I need to get at. When I wrote my family a letter once a week, I thought about it all week, and when my preparatory time came down, I sat down and wrote a I'm talking like Jane Austen here. A well-considered, well-organized, thoughtful letter that talked about a particular topic, what had happened to me that week, all that kind of stuff.
I want to see. We need a smash cut of Ben reading a Civil War letter.
Yes. A discussion with your family, a once a week call home with your family. If you were to just give them a superficiality rating, there's a big gap. Like, hey, how things going? Here's what's going on.
So it's too superficial for you.
Yes.
It's not like he hasn't suffered enough. He isn't desperate enough to talk to you.
I love my son. I love talking to him.
But
I feel like our letters are way better communication than a phone call. And so I've had a hard time adjusting to him. Like, he calls and I don't have anything to say, but I spent an hour writing him a letter the day before. And he reads them and he replies to them. And those communications I treasure much more. Enough that I've archived them. And
they're just tools for. Oh, all right. No judgment.
Okay.
It's a safe space.
That's the answer. That's one example of how it's changed, and me having a hard time.
Okay.
All right, I got another question for you, Josh.
Yeah, we're really you're gonna have to ask me your question first on the next one, because this one really did drop off kind of quickly. Thank goodness.
Okay.
All right. Still burns.
This one's a lot lighter than that one. I hand you $10,000 and tell you that you can only use it to start a new hobby that you've never done before. What hobby do you choose, and how quickly do you burn through the 10K?
Oh, what's my latest hobby crush? That's a great. But I've already gone through so many.
It has to be one you've never done before.
It has to be a hobby that I've never done before. Okay. Why does my brain want to go to candle making? No, that's not right. Stained glass? No. 10,000. No, definitely 3D printing.
Okay.
Gotta be 3D printing.
Like, you spend the first $5,000 on a printer and the rest on materials?
Oh, absolutely not. No. You don't jump into that. No. You have to know what you're doing before you realize what's good and what's bad. What features
do you buy a starter?
You buy a starter 3D printer for a few $100s and then tinker with it and until you're frustrated so that you want to throw it against the wall. And the pinch points and what the things are important.
This is the curve.
Yeah, yes. You get yourself over the Dunning-Kruger curve into a point where you understand a lot more about
The
it.
Valley of Despair.
Yes, you get into the Valley of Despair and you start climbing your way out with the rest of the $10,000.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
that one was pretty bad.
Yeah, but I'm already coming down from it.
I took one bite of it.
I
and
ate
then
the whole
saw
thing.
you ate it too fast because it came on. It didn't come on right away.
I'm in it to go here. All right, we're on to the last dab.
Oh, God.
Now, do you know how the tradition works with Hot Ones with the last dab?
It's called the Last Dab Xperience with a big X.
All right,
Over 91% pepper X.
Okay, so the last one, the Sicilian Scorpion, was 816,000 Scoville units. This one, the Last Dab Xperience, is 2.6 million Scoville units
So this is
of pepper X.
three times what we just had.
It says you don't have to if you don't want to, but tradition around here is to add an extra dab of this mega spicy sauce to the final wing. Guinness record breaking pepper X chilies make this sauce a one-of-a-kind experience best enjoyed with friends.
A one-of-a-kind experience that might help you see God.
Okay, just be careful.
I'm getting one drop. There it is. There. One drop. That's
All
my
right.
dab.
Let me
Yeah.
dab.
Even the kids don't dab anymore. You did that at one of our photo opportunities. Like, I didn't know you were doing it. We both look like goobers in that one.
Here we go.
Careful.
Link in the show
Dude,
notes.
be careful.
All right. I have essential tremors. Don't mock me. It's a medical condition.
Oh, there it is. That's enough. That's plenty.
Whew. Oh, now it's around the rim.
I'm scared, Ben.
Me too. All right, here we go, buddy.
Cheers.
The Last Dab Experience. Ooh, it just feels angry. It's building. Let me ask you your question first.
It's a slow burn.
Okay, here's the last question. Josh, you've reinvented yourself 4 times that I know of. From an IT manager, to a drone pilot, to an entrepreneur, to a certified public accountant. What does the next 5 years hold for you? And could there be a few more reinventions before you either settle into something permanent or retire?
Oh, God. It's just pain.
It's really burning. But there's some wisdom to building up to it. Like, if I just started with that one, I don't think I'd be able to talk. It doesn't feel like as big of a jump from the Sicilian Scorpion to the Last Dab Experience as it did from the Hot House.
All right, so.
Maybe you had a bigger dab than me.
Oh, God. I stopped making 5-year plans years ago
Really?
because I've reinvented myself so many times.
Yeah. Oh, was my number 4 wrong, or is that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Oh, that one's burning in the back of the throat, too. Oh.
As soon as the milk leaves my mouth. I told my boss this in an interview. He asked me that. And I told him, I don't know. I stopped making 5-year plans a long time
Really?
ago.
He
but
asked you that, too?
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, right?
Okay.
Everything has changed in the last every 5 years of my life. Well, since I was in high school. This one, I'm sticking with this one, though. I like where I'm at. The wisdom that I've learned. Like, they tell you when you're a kid, find something that you love, that your dream, and pursue it. That's crap. Give up on your dreams. Settle. It's a little hard. The key to being happy is finding something you don't hate. That's the key. And so, like, right? I don't hate what I do. I wake up in the morning and I don't hate getting in my car to drive to work. I like the people that I work with. I have pleasant conversations. I enjoy the craft that I do, the profession that I'm in. I have a genuine passion talking to clients about things, and so that's the key. Just find something you don't hate, and then pour your passion and your dreams into the stuff that you actually like when you're not working to make the money you need.
Oh, that sounded like a Harvard graduation speech.
Oh my God, it's so hot. then I can see why they say don't touch your eyes because I'm crying. Like, both eyes. My lips hurt so much.
It stopped being localized for me. It's just like my whole head is on fire.
All right, buddy. All right. Here's my question. You ready? All right. We've been doing this for 6 years now, okay? At a personal cost of time, energy, and resources.
Uh-huh.
Why? What are you getting out of this? Why?
Okay.
Why?
I like it. So I want to tell a little story of something that happened to us the first day we were here. We were walking towards the venue with all the anticipation of starting another Magic Con. And we kind of match pace with a girl who turns to us and says, hey, do you guys know how to get to the venue? And we're like, yeah, we've done this 6 years in a row.
Was this your first time, lady? It's right through. It's through this unmarked door, up this escalator, across this sky bridge, down a hallway that's unmarked, down another set of escalators, through some open doors, around the construction, and across the street. Clear as day.
Yeah. And she goes, can I follow you guys? And we said, sure. So I did like I do sometimes, and I'm like, why not get to know her a little bit? I'm like, hey, I'm Ben. This is Josh. We're the co-hosts of the Bad Magic podcast. We've been doing this for 6 years because we came here 6 years ago and started this podcast. And she goes, really? I'm a creator too. And she had this moment where she felt like she connected with us, but she's in a whole other thing than we are.
She's a whole other league. If we're the JV team at the local high school, like,
She's the pros.
She's in the pros, yeah.
Her name is Nerd Girl MTG. Has her own YouTube channel and everything. And she was so nice. And I was like, oh, let me give you a little souvenir. And I gave her one of our custom dice with the Bad Magic, oh my eyes, with the Bad Magic podcast logo on it. And, oh, this stuff is so hot. And I handed it to her, and she thanked me, and then the conversation led into like what it's like to be a creator. And she says to us something to the effect of like, so how many listeners do you guys have?
I loved my response to that question because
I answered first. I'm like,
you did.
I don't really know. We stopped paying attention a while back, and that's not a lie. Like for a while, we were following it real close and watching all the trends, and the one consistent thing we had is just slow growth. We've never gone backwards. We've always just gotten more and more listeners.
Yeah.
But at one point, you were like, hey, it's going to cost us money to renew this service that lets us see how many listeners you got. Do you care enough to pay money for this? And we both kind of looked at each other and went,
Oh, really? We
No.
stopped doing it.
and I think that's at the heart of it. So then she's like, oh, I have 250,000
Yeah, like subscribers.
average views on her content, and respect. Like, that's
yeah.
awesome. And it came out in the course of the conversation that she supports herself as a content creator.
That's her
and that's
full-time
amazing.
gig.
That is not what I'm after. To me, it's a creative outlet. You said one time, I don't know why we keep doing this podcast thing, because it's like we give ourselves homework. But it's homework about stuff I like.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's it. To me, I've found it so fulfilling for us to talk every 2 weeks for the last 2 years and give ourselves homework of reading books, watching shows, researching things, coming up with questions, interacting with our listeners, and all of that, because I have this constant flow of something I can channel my creative energy into about stuff I'm interested in. And that's what's in it for me. That's why I feel like we've sustained the energy that we started with 6 years ago. I feel like that's why we've constantly grown our viewership and our listener base up until now. And I think is why we'll probably be doing this another 6 years from now.
That's awesome. My mouth is okay, but my lips will not stop burning. It hurts so bad.
Okay. Well, Josh, we did it.
We did it. We made it there together.
We didn't do 10, but we didn't chicken out on the 2 spiciest
We didn't.
sauces in the Hot Ones canon.
And I'll tell you what, like, I would put these 3 in my fridge. This is the first 3. This is fine. Like, if you like hot sauce, you like spicy foods occasionally, these are good to have in your fridge. This one was okay if you are a spicy aficionado. These are if you're doing a bit.
Off
Like-
limits. Yeah, like dare from your friends.
Yeah, this is dumb. Like,
Do it at a party when you've had a few beers.
you
I
don't
know what that's
Yeah,
like.
you don't know what that, I was just gonna say that.
I didn't want to raw dog it and like not drink any milk. That really helped.
Yeah, just hold it in your mouth and just keep it there.
I'm going to drink the rest of it here in a minute. All right. Well, listeners, thanks for joining us for the Bad at Magic Hot Ones Challenge.
Do we recommend it? Nope.
But as I pointed out,
What?
6 years ago,
We became best friends.
We were. I thought I was gonna be the one with the t-shirt.
over our
day.
hobbies.
You are. Why are we friends? You're so cringe. That was so terrible.
I won't even, listeners, if you start listening to the podcast, about 8 episodes ago, you'll learn where the t-shirt with our photos came on. And longtime listeners, there was an Easter egg for you. If you enjoyed this, maybe you'll enjoy our podcast. Check out episode 9, The Italian Job, where we
found
our voice. And yeah, maybe we'll do something again like this or something similar sometime in the future. Here's to 6 years of podcasting and 6 more, buddy.
We have several listeners, and we are willing to sacrifice our body to create content for those several people. Imagine what we would do if this became our full-time gig.
So until next time, try to be a little less bad at magic.
And then we'll cut this last part out.
Yep.